Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is going to be part 2 of this Porsche Spec 944 build. And if you missed part 1, let me see if I can recap it for you. We got the chassis back from the sandblaster. We got all the outside panels of it stripped. We got all of the sand residue out of the vehicle. We got the whole chassis sprayed with epoxy, and I got the interior and the engine bay all painted Gulf blue. And in this episode, we're going to be working on all the bolt-on parts, like the hood and the fenders and so forth. So stay tuned. So we're going to be stripping this hood on this Spec 944. There's a lot of imperfections and the paint's really old and starting to flake off. So that's going to require us stripping it down to metal and repairing any dents in it. And we also are going to fill the squirter holes. We're going to start stripping this thing with it's a big DA basically, or it's also known as a Bondo buster with 36 grit paper on it. We'll take it down to the metal. And then we'll sand it in 80 and then we'll finish it off in 180 before we prime it. Alright, so I got the hood stripped. We're going to get those squirter holes filled and wipe a few dents on this thing. It's got some minor damage, a couple dents here and there. We're going to get all that wiped and we'll set up in the booth and start putting some primer on it. The hood and all the parts are ready to prime, so now we're going to get the outside panels of the chassis ready to prime and prime everything all together at one time with high build primer. Here's the parts in the booth that we primed with high build primer, and they look pretty good, so we're going to let them dry, put some guide coat on them, then we can block them out and get them ready for paint. Now that everything is primed, we're going to start prepping all the underside of these panels to get them jammed in. We're also going to be jamming and painting the outside of the fenders at the same time with this Gulf blue. So we're going to get this all wiped down and ready to spray. That's all that's left to do after that is to start putting some paint on it. The first thing I'm applying is epoxy primer. We're going to use it as a sealer on this bare metal. And that's going to be followed by sealer on the rest of the panels. Next is 2 coats of Gulf Blue single stage. We got those parts painted. They turned out really good. We're going to let them dry overnight. Come in the morning, take those parts out of the booth, load up another booth load of parts, and paint them blue. After we get this stuff tacked off, we're going to be applying 1 coat of gray sealer. Now it's 2 coats of Gulf Blue single stage. Alright, so now that we have that booth load painted, we can let it dry overnight. Coming in the morning, we're going to put the hood and the headlight covers in the booth and get those painted blue. And that should be the last booth load of Gulf Blue loose parts. Finally. So let's give these parts one more walk around, give them a good look, make sure everything's good before I clean my paint gun out. And everything looks pretty good, so we'll see you in the morning. We're going to start with 1 coat of gray sealer, and after that flashes off, we're going to be putting 2 coats of the Gulf Blue on this hood and headlight doors.
Getting hoarders addicted to crack would probably solve the hoarding problem. They'd probably sell all the stuff. What do you think?
That's going to be about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit that like button. And And if this is the first time you're ever seeing my video, consider subscribing and ringing that bell notification. That way you won't miss any future content. And stay tuned for part 3 of this Spec 944 build. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya! Alright, so now that we have that booth load of Gulf Blue outside loose panels chicken pot pie, headlight covers painted, booth load of loose parts. Alright, so now that we have that booth load painted, we can get it finally.